So I'm getting things ready to make a move with the cows in the morning. It's kind of a critical move. We got one last hunt, and I'm trying to get them in a position where they're not going to be in our way. I have been planning this for a while now. It's time to implement it. Anytime you implement a plan with animals, sometimes it's not good. We're gonna cross our fingers. I need 2 more posts, maybe one there to bring that down, and then I'd like one over there on that flat spot just to make a good solid barrier. Just don't want them to go into the timber. If they go into the timber, then they're right on top of one of our sets that we kind of need to be hunting. I've had them next to hot fence for a while, and I mean real hot. 7,000 volts. I don't know if you've ever touched 7,000 volts, but it's enough to get your attention. That's what I'm going to do in the morning. Oh, I do have some more posts. Yay! Guess how many more I have? Perfect. Okay, ideally, the gate, there's a T-post right there, and the gate is that way. So the cows are going to come out of this pasture, hit that gate, and they're going to want to come this way, but I've got that fence set right here over to the big tree and then down in this valley. So I want them to come down this trail right here and come right over here and up this other side and then out into that lane past the four-wheeler, and then I got them. That's where I need them to go. So I'll set the camera up over here. I may set it up right here where we can watch and see what they do. I may not want to see. And you're moving cows, especially with teenagers, they tend to not do what you want them to. They just get to goofing around. And so they'll end up going under the fence, and then the mamas will freak out. Oh my goodness, my baby went under the fence. Well, it took a little while, but I think we got them going where we want now. You can see them kind of going by here and going through. They're kind of having to maneuver through several gates. But it's one of those things where I had to kind of come up to the front and just kind of take a handful and just take them the direction I wanted them to go. And then I started hollering at my other ones with my whistle or my voice, and they understood, oh, okay, yeah, that's where we're going. They've got a little issue with this because this is where I pin them, and so they're just not really content with that. But we got them going now. Well, I am trying to get ready to go and start on clearing some fence row for the goats and the cattle, the new fence, and I had to do some repair work. This is on the mower that I use to mow those trees and kind of clear them out. It's a real heavy duty mower. And this is the setup that I had. The way this thing works is you come up here and you put your quick connect down in this. It locks down in here. And then the company made these things that you put up against your quick connect, and then you have to tighten them up. This is about a 3/4 inch bolt. And then the way they seated it, and I'm assuming they did it, is they welded a piece of steel on here and butted it up against the nut. Well, the problem with that is when this starts getting tight because of debris or just lack of lubrication, it would just spin. And so then it just starts melting the edges off. It strips it. Strips it basically is what it does. So this side is still good. This side failed. So I had to come in here with the torch and cut it out, and then I tried to grind it off the best I could with getting a grinder in here. And then I just went back with the same bolt and the same nut, and then I'll just have to put another wrench under there on it while I'm tightening it up. Now, as you well know from a previous video, one of the videos where the world's greatest skid steer operator was involved. You're good.
Oh, I know.
The skid steer professional. You saw that my quick attach down attachment things were getting stuck coming up, and I would get underneath it and tap on it from under here. I re-tightened it up and I re-greased it and all that, and I haven't had any problems until recently, and I had problems again. So I'm a little nervous about putting it on here because you'll see there is no opening on the bottom. If it gets stuck in here, I'll have to be able to pry it loose from the top. So I need to look at that and see if I can do that. Well, normally I turn a implement or a attachment for the skid steer on back at the shop or at the house before I leave. But when you're using this big mower, it's just, I don't know, you got to turn the high flow on, and it's just a lot of, I just don't want to do it till I get out in the pasture. Well, that's over. Got all the way out here, turned it on. Hydraulics started running out of this thing like a river. All down on there. Unicorns and rainbows, baby. Darn. Okay, it's working. Oh yeah. We're fixing to start clearing another fence. When we do that, we always start with that big heavy mower. I'll try to get a little bit of footage of that today so y'all can kind of see how it works, but I'm sure y'all seen that stuff before. Awesome. It's the next morning. I've got to go down and finish what I was doing with the skid steer down on the fence. I got a few more trees I need to stack, so I'm going to do that. But before I do that, I'm going to stop like I do every day and check the fence and make sure we're good. That's probably good. What's going on is we've got a lot of moisture right now as far as humidity. The pavement, the driveway, the sidewalk, all of that stuff was wet this morning. And so when it's like that, it tends to have some drawdown if the fence is down in the grass somewhere, or maybe touching a tree or something like that. And when you've got as much electric fence out as we do, you've got some of that. You just can't keep it all clear all the time. That's still plenty hot to turn cattle, and probably plenty hot to turn goats. The goats aren't behind the fence right now, but the cattle are. So I think we're good. we'll watch as we go along here and just make sure we don't see something obvious. Well, I was driving along the road over there with my windows down, and I could hear popping over here on this fence. I don't know if that's picking that up, but that's a pretty loud pop. And so I knew I had an issue going on over here. And so I've been checking it. I opened this gate to see if the voltage went up once I opened it, because all my fence goes this way, at least on this side of the ranch. And when I opened it, my voltage basically stayed the same. And so a lot of times you can see where this is kind of burning, where I've put aluminum and that 16.5 gauge galvanized together. It creates a bad connection because it's different types of metal, and you can see where it's kind of burning out. And sometimes you'll get a bad connection there, and it slowly starts, you know, popping it and cutting across it and eating it up. And that's what you see right here where I'm pointing. And so that's what I was wondering if it was. So I'm checking it to see what it's doing there. And what I discovered is when I opened this gate, it still had an issue, and it was still popping, and I could actually see that it was popping here, which this is direct ground, and it sounds like a direct ground pop. You know, when you have a direct ground, I mean, it is a hard pop. It's like, I mean, you can just almost feel the power when you hear it go off. And so I could tell it was a direct short. And so I went back and watched it for a minute, saw it was sparking on the post a little bit. Then what you can do is you can put your tester on that, and you can check it and see if it's registering, then it's coming through. And it doesn't do it every time. See, it stopped there, but it's hitting a little there. Now it's hitting again. It should be reading nothing right there. So it's coming straight to the post right there. So I've got to redo all of this and replace this insulator. It must be shortened through that insulator. These are little old cheap plastic insulators from Tractor Supply, and you know, they're all right for a little while, but eventually they'll pop out. I'm gonna have to just disconnect the power like this for now. So I got to replace this. I just will replace this one too. That's why we use, if you've looked when we're doing our other fences, we use those real nice, I call them heavy strain insulators from King Cove. It's another thing to put on the list. You know, if you think about it, electric fence is really pretty amazing that you can control livestock at all in that stuff. And a lot of people that haven't been involved with it wonder, how does it work? Why does it work so well? What's it feel like when you get shocked? This is why it works right here. This fence right here, right over there where I just was, I shut all the power off. There's no power coming to this right here, and I know it. And I need to cross this fence, but I'm still gonna check it. That's because I've been shocked. It hurts bad. And it's the same thing for the cows. They get hit one time, and I mean, they're like, ooh, I don't want that anymore. What do you say, fellas? Yeah, what's up? Hey. Yeah. Well, here comes White. What do you say, White? What are we missing here? There's Betsy. Where is Sam? Okay, I've got her clear, but I need to kind of put some flags up here and get an idea and just make sure I've got everything out of the way of where the line needs to be to make it halfway straight. You know, the fewer bends, the less braces, all that kind of stuff. I've got just a little bit of timber here that I need to clear to kind of have the final stretch done. And I've got all the equipment down here, and I'm just wondering if that's what I want to do. Just go ahead and do that, and I think I will. Okay, here's this stretch. You can see the other flag post in the background. I'm gonna have to move this big cedar right here, which is fine. Lunchtime! Well, can you believe I'm back here at the shop to work on the air conditioner? It's nearly Christmas, and I need the air conditioner. What I got to do, at least as far as I know, is I got to take these bolts off here and here. Then this thing pulls back, and I got a bunch of fans in there that I need to blow out. There we go. Well, good morning. It's the next day. I had told you yesterday I was going to go ahead and start clearing the next section because I just had all the equipment down here, so that's what I did. I'm trying to keep trees away from the fence because they fall on the fence. That's just how it is. I trimmed some of those limbs off of that oak right there, but I'm going to have to come over and move that big cedar tree and kind of clear more right on that line. I'm going to have to go ahead and put one more brace there. I can't come up with another way to do it and get around these big trees and not go under them and potentially have an issue with the limbs falling on them. So I'm back out this morning, gonna go down. I got a better idea of kind of where I'm going. I'll get down there and get after it. Okay, I got it clear where I can see right up through there. I just need to bring the grapple and move all this timber out of my way. Not bad, went pretty fast. I think it looks pretty good. I should have been standing right up in there. I may have to come back with some binoculars and look like that because I don't know that I can see that far. It's sad to get old. We got us a pretty clear shot there. So when you're doing fence like this, the best case scenario is to get your map out, draw a straight line, and get you a big old dozer and just mark the line and drive the line and clear it. The problem is that involves getting a big old dozer, and it's hard to get a dozer around here. We rented one a few years back for about a month, and it took us forever to get it. But that's by far the way to do it rather than own one, just rent one, if you don't use it every day. But that's how a guy wants to do it. He wants to just mark his whole line, that way you can have it straight. But I learned a long time ago, when you don't have all that equipment, you just have a skid steer, you kind of need to avoid the big trees. All right, I guess we're gonna stop there for today. It was 85 in my truck coming out here. This video is gonna air after this, but it's the day before Christmas. 85 on my truck. I'll be anxious to see. They were predicting 81 for today. It was gonna be a record. For a 100-year record is what they said. Amazing.